You ever saw a movie on Netflix or on cable that looked like a terrible rip-off of a popular franchise like Fast and Furious or John Wick? You ask yourself, how did they get funding for this? Well, there's a reason these so-called terrible films get funding and distribution. And in this episode of The Brown Film Show, we're going to explain just how these movies go about doing that. Also, how you can employ some of these techniques when raising money for your next film project. And stick around, because I'm going to share with you that one secret I learned to help get funding for my very own. So the first reason why these films get greenlit is because there's an audience for these types of movies. Take a movie like Sharknado, a film about the world going through a shark apocalypse, a natural disaster combined with an ocean's apex predator, and released by Sci-Fi Network. Can you imagine going to the studio with this concept and this script with these lines?
It's Planet of the Apes.
But guess what? People from all over the world love this film. And this speaks to niche markets and knowing your audience. Story time. Everyone gave Tyler Perry a hard time because they said it's just a guy in the dress. But Tyler Perry wasn't building his Madea franchises for Chad working in a cubicle in downtown Chicago. He was making it for the churchgoers on the south side of Chicago. Tyler Perry and the producers of Sharknado absolutely know their audience's needs, and they deliver every time.
Do you have any room for a roasted brown?
What?
That's why there's 6 Sharknado movies, which grossed over $4.5 billion, beating any Disney Pixar franchise, according to Filmside.org. And that brings me to point number 2. These films are made for a worldwide audience. Will Smith once said, when he decided he wanted to become the greatest movie star in the world, he remembered the advice Arnold Schwarzenegger gave him, which is that he must make movies that can be seen all over the world. Now, what does that mean? Look at one of my favorite movies. In the past 20 years in There Will Be Blood.
We have a sinner with us here.
I drink your milkshake. I see the worst in people, Henry.
And if you haven't checked out my video on Daniel Day-Lewis, the link is right here on the top right. Although I love this film, I can't deny that it's slow, nuanced, and very Western, with Western themes of money, power, greed, and Christianity. Now, although this film was dubbed in many languages and was marketed all over the world, it just will not resonate to an audience in, say, India or some parts of China. This probably will fall under the category of American Western cinema, and for them, that is very niche.
You look like a fool, don't you, Dilfin? Yes.
We can't even rely on the incredible talent that is Daniel Day-Lewis, because if you don't speak English, you're not going to catch all of the little details in his acting. With a movie like Lincoln, we were impressed with how he figured out Lincoln's high-pitched, crackling voice.
Now!
However, the audience in Germany is hearing a German actor dubbing his voice.
Gestattet mit immenser Macht. Sie beschaffen mir die fehlenden Stimmen.
I know this firsthand because I left America 8 years ago and have been living abroad ever since. And I can say with conviction, these people have never heard Eddie Murphy's real voice.
Ah! Je vois! Ah! Je vois! Je dis!
Or Bernie Mac or Viola Davis.
Oh merde, c'est un miracle!
They hear a European doing his best impersonation of an American in another language. The 3-act structure is so loaded with what I call no-isms. You'll have to know about American history, the landscape of the current political American system to truly appreciate a film like Lincoln. And although my fellow countrymen and women think everyone is all up in America's business, I can assure you they are not. But if you give a kid from Yemen or Senegal a guy shooting down aliens from outer space while falling in love or doing something big to save humanity, that kid can fully wrap their heads around the story, which was the formula Will Smith employed when he was choosing scripts. Which leads me to another reason why these so-called terrible movies get made, and that's simplicity. Yes, I know you're high, you're from outer space, you got Milky Way for blood and evolution in your veins, but in general, people might not get your story. These types of films have themes that appeal to audiences that range in ages from 6 to 70 years old, and if people don't get it, they won't watch and support it. Let's get back to Sharknado, a franchise even as a self-proclaimed film snob I absolutely love.
Go kill some sharks!
Sharknado is a big spectacle. And people can relate to big spectacles at any age. Big spectacles and easy to understand themes is what companies like Disney are built on. And when I say big, I'm not talking about budget. Sharknado was only produced for $2 million in 2013. I've seen budgets for 30-second Super Bowl spots 5 times that much. And all of their 6 films haven't exceeded the budget of $4 million. And before I get into how you can apply these marketing techniques to your film projects, and the one secret thing I did to get funding for my documentary, if you like this content, I would really appreciate it if you smash that like button and subscribe to my channel. So how can you learn from this as a creator? Because to be honest, for me, all of this is a little depressing. I got into film when I was 15 years old, and I'm currently working on a documentary coming out next year. But I got into this industry to make the next Godfather, the next Malcolm X, the next No Country for Old Men, not no damn Sharknado. But there's something to take away and learn from all of these terrible movies. Which brings me to the one secret that's so obvious, but still I didn't realize how important it was until I implemented it, which is you have to pre-visualize your concept. Michael Jai White said in order to get funding for Black Dynamite, he created a whole trailer that looks like a blaxploitation film. He rounded up some actors and creative people, got a camera and a costume, and shot a pre-visualization trailer for Black Dynamite by mixing in his footage with old movies from the 70s. And it's that technique we employed to get funding for my documentary. We made a trailer. So why do this? Although telling people about your story is nice and making a very snazzy treatment works well, all of those pitch techniques are secondary to actually showing them what you will make. A previs trailer or storyboard or animatic does a few things. It shows investors that you can actually make something watchable that they can sell and that they can make money off of. Because the bottom line is about the dollars. It's always about the fucking dollars. Now, I was lucky enough to have directed a documentary series on 3 people competing in a fitness competition in Paris. The series is called Building the French, and it was released last year. And if you want to check it out, I'll have a link in the description. It's in French with English subtitles, and it's a great watch. I'm just saying. And all shameful promotion aside, after producing this doc, I knew exactly who my audience was. I knew exactly which sponsors or potential investors to contact. So when I decided to make a more focused follow-up to this movie, I knew exactly how to make a pre-visualization trip. Hopefully this video has given you some insight into why these so-called bad films are funded, and if you want to learn more about the creation of this popular movie, check out this video.